You better enjoy these intro cards, Malverde. Alright, so here we have it, guys. Once again, ODM Enticity taking on XMT Gobbo Slayer. We got the Tomb Kings versus the Vampire Coast. This is round 1 of their best of 3, and the map will be Oakenhammer. So let's remove that intro card and get right into it, shall we? Starting with the Tomb Kings, going to have Skeleton Warriors on the right flank. Got some Tomb Guard in the center here, and then the left flank will have another 2 Skeleton Warriors and a second unit of Tomb Guard. Make it 3 Tomb Guard, actually. So a lot of infantry here. We're going to have the Blessed Legion of Cath with 2 other units of Skeleton Archers. Blessed Legion does have that Armor Sundering to debuff armor by 30 whenever it shoots a unit, so get some extra value out of these Skeleton Archers who don't have the best armor piercing. But speaking of armor piercing, you know who has great armor piercing? The Ushapti with the Great Bow. These constructs can absolutely shred large armored units, and there's going to be 2 of them on the field of battle. For the leadership, we have a Tomb Prince as well as Archon the Black. Now the Tomb Prince will be bringing, I think, the Curse of Jaff, and then we have Archon the Black bringing the Liber Mortis, as well as Staff of Nagash, the Tomb Blade of Archon, and Spirit Leech for that magic. Other than this, we have Skeleton Chariots on the field of battle. I love these units. We'll see if they can get some good value against the Vampire Coast. And then we're going to have a second unit of Chariots on the left flank. Up in the air, we do have some Carrion. And then I believe that is it. We've rounded out the Tomb King army. Now, what have the Vampire Coast brought for us? 4 bombs, and that blue line was completely wrong, but I slipped, what can I say? So 4 of the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob with the bombs, and then we're going to have a Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob up front. There's going to be 4 units of handguns in the back. I love that as well. Got 2 mortars here. Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob with polearms. You have a single carronade and a gunnery white. Going to be bringing, a couple things. So Scab Scrath as well as the extra powder. But then we also have Enchanted Ballistics for extra accuracy and reload skill to units in an area AoE. So these mortars going to be raking in the buffs as well as the carronade. For the leaders, we have a Vampire Fleet Captain. Going to have a Power Stone along with Invocation of Nehek and the Drowned Dead as she rides her crab into battle. And leading the army, of course, is Luther Harkin on top of his Death Street Terrorgeist, and he is a wonderful lord indeed. Going to be bringing Hornswaggle and nothing else. So let's kick it into top speed and see what happens from here. Mortar's trying to go after the Ushapti with Great Bows, but I think that's not the best targeting. The carronade for sure. Maybe Luther Harkin tries to go in and threaten him with some melee combat where he can just crush him. But if these guys close the gap, they are going to make very quick work of all of the artillery that the Vampire Coast has on the field. Ooh, and the Spirit Leech going in as well. Archon even overcasting that, taking a little bit of damage from the miscast, but probably worth it in the end, as this mortar is going to get shut down without really doing any value. We do see Luther Harkin now diving into combat against the Ushapti of the Great Bows. Looks like he's going to be running away, though, as the Tomb Prince comes after him. Curse of Jaff has not been used. And so far, balanced power very even, but I would give the edge to the Tomb Kings initially, but maybe honestly in terms of just pure point count, they may be ahead considering the Ushapti Great Bows are more valuable than these mortars. But Carrion diving in to finish off the last of the mortars. Beautiful stuff. And we're going to see Luther Harkin diving in to try to finish them off too, and they're going to immediately crumble under that charge. Right now, the Skeleton Chariots, though, are in a very threatening position and are very healthy. And it's time to see what they do. These ones aren't diving into the closest gunnery mob, which kind of surprises me. Ushapti with Great Bow seem to have turned their attention to the Vampire Fleet Captain, and now the Skeleton Chariots are going for the backline attacks. But oh no, these ones going to get distracted by Luther Harkin, and now they're just going to get destroyed. They are a very fragile unit, not tanky at all, but look at the damage output when they do get on top of their targets, and these guys are just doing a ton of damage to the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob. Well, these ones are going to get shattered by the Gunnery Mob handgun fire. But all is not lost. We have Skeleton Warriors closing the gap, and it's time to see if they can neutralize this Vampire Coast ranged power. But the bomb's obviously going to be very, very dangerous, and it looks like our Tomb King player here, Enticity, is microing very well to avoid it. And now, look at that, you know, pulling these units back, pulling these units forward. The Tomb Guard will make very quick work of these guys, and I don't even think they're going to be able to get a complete volley off before they close the gap. In fact, they're not going to get any volleys off on the Tomb Guard. They're instead going to continue focusing on Skeleton Warriors, but now they are compromised, and that should be the end of those bombers. Ushabti Great Bows, one of them still very damaged, but they're firing away, keeping the pressure up on top of the Tomb King units. And looks like our Lore of Vampires caster is gone. Jay Phoenix, thank you for the follow. Looks like that one got killed off with Ushabti's Great Bows, and now we'll see what they turn their attention to next. But this single surviving Skeleton Chariot is doing absolute work. 104 kills already. These guys are shattered, and it looks like the Tomb Kings are really starting to press the advantage here. And I'm not seeing many paths to victory opening up for the Vampire Coast. Oh, but look at that. The Vampire Fleet Captain did not die. I was just being a negative Nelly, and so that actually does make this a much more even match than I initially thought. So my apologies for that mistake. Handgun still doing a lot of damage, focusing on the Skeleton Warriors. The bombs, which are on guard mode, are still throwing some bombs, but they're not really hitting their marks too much, and it looks like they're going to shatter just right before our very eyes, and the Tomb Guard are going to continue their onslaught. But chariots have come in, gotten on top of these handguns, and the Skeleton Chariots are just wonderful. I absolutely love them here, and they are getting a lot of value. Kill counts just continuing to rise. Alright, Spirit Leech going down on top of Luther Harkin. Vampire Coast leadership is still in good health. Tomb Prince, on the other hand, not looking too good, and I imagine another shot from this Gunnery White may be just enough to kill him off. Liber Mortis going down, and we're going to see the Ushabti summon coming here, pinning Luther Harkin in place. And now we're also going to see the Curse of Jaff on top of him. He is rampaging. Invocation of Nehek upgraded has gone down on top of this pocket of units, but all the while the Tomb Kings continue their advance, just moving infantry forward and then getting their missile units in range to lay down that fire. And as soon as those archers get into range, they are just melting the Tomb King infantry. And the Vampire Coast infantry. And I have to say, this is a very well executed battle by ODM Enticity. I've really liked his screening. I've liked his positioning and the zoning, and he's just played this very well. Gunnery White is targeting Arc on the Black right now. I would like to see him finish off that Tomb Prince. Tomb Prince isn't a unit you want to let survive this long. I'm trying to remember. It's only a one-time ability. I'm trying to remember if Curse of Jaff could be repeated. Thankfully, it's a no. Skeleton Chariots getting on top of the Carronades, but they're about to get attacked by the Fleet Captain and the Gunnery White. Luther Harkin getting Spirit Leech once again, but another Invocation of Nehek going down on top of him. Luther Harkin is one of those lords who can somehow just always find a way to win, but the Tomb King archers still have a healthy amount of ammunition. The Ushabti, who are almost out of ammunition. But oh man, a nice scab scrap going down on top of the Skeleton Archers there. And oh, but look at that. Luther Harkin hit the ground, got in combat. The Tomb Prince, who is still hanging on by a thread, and Arc on the Black going in for the kill, but he's going to be able to escape. And now the Vampire Fleet Captain is down here, and the Tomb Prince has finally been killed off. There goes another Spirit Leech, and this may be the one that kills off Luther Harkin. Will it be the one? Luther Harkin down. Oh, but look at that. An Invocation of Nehek coming in, and he's hanging by a thread, guys. Looks like the Invocation of Nehek will win out in the end. He is still crumbling, though, and we'll see if he stops crumbling. If not, he'll just die a slow death in spite of it. But there he goes, getting back to critical binding, and it looks like he may live to fight another day. Alright, the Ushopti Great Bows who are out of ammunition getting in combat with the Vampire Fleet Captain. Power Stone has been popped. And it's just going to be a lot of units for the Vampire Coast to chew through. I honestly don't know if I've seen any of the breaths from Luther Harkin go down. I wish I could see that as the third-party caster, but I cannot. And, yeah, because if he has any breaths, maybe he can get some good damage in here in the late game, but it's just looking really good for the Tomb Kings. The only thing that I think could give the Vampire Coast any hope is the fact that Luther Harkin is still alive, and the Tomb Kings, for the most part, are out of ammunition. But another Spirit Leech will seal his doom, and, yeah, Archon the Black coming out, doing what he does best, Spirit Leeching people to death. There goes a Brett, though. Oh, the dodge from Archon is real. The gunfire is going down. Oh my god, Luther Harkin has survived, and he is shooting Archon the Black with his gun. Hornswaggle has been popped, and oh my goodness gracious, Luther Harkin, you dirty, dirty dog. The archers are pouring in all the fire they got into Luther Harkin. But look at this, Archon the Black is running away. He is crumbling, getting shot. Luther Harkin may not win the fight, but he's going to have his last laugh. Well, I guess not last laugh because he's dead, but at least he may die knowing that Archon the Black is going to crumble out of existence and die as well. Nope, he hit critical binding, and Archon will survive. Oh my goodness. Both of those lords just living by a thread. Archon, okay, never mind, he died, it's official. Luther Harkin had his last laugh, knowing that his enemy died with him. But can you really kill him? Can you really kill Luther Harkin or Archon the Black? Well, crumbling is based on their leadership, not their health, right? So you can technically not be crumbling at 70 HP. So, yeah, I mean, this army had a lot of ranged power, but really when it comes down to a Tomb King army closing the gap, it didn't have a good answer. I do think the handguns needed to be used more aggressively to counter the Ushopti. The Ushopti outrange them significantly, but they got in pretty close to start shooting at the mortars and stuff, and if these guys would have pushed forward, the Ushopti wouldn't trade well against them at all. And you could have two handguns on top of each Ushopti, and you'd be surprised how quickly that kills them off. However, other than that, I just think the Tomb King army here really had a significant advantage with their infantry. Bombs can absolutely destroy infantry, as we saw them do in a couple of cases against Skeleton Warriors, but without anything to protect them or to stall the approach, then it's a pretty big liability because, you know, they'll maybe get one volley off, two volleys, but if you're up against a good player like Enticity, as you saw there, his micro will prevent you from getting that much value. He can manipulate the formations with the Skeleton Warriors, give him weird orders, and that will help him dodge a lot of bombs, and then he'll attack you with a different unit that isn't getting hit by bombs. And yeah, just well executed over here. Also, the archers, very well used. These guys, I think, against both undead factions, kind of seem like not a must, but a really common sense pick, because the archers are something neither of these other factions have, and both of the other undead factions struggle against. Vampire counts because they have no range units, and the Vampire Coast just because it seems like archers are a pretty good counter against them. You see Empire, Wood Elves, High Elves, a lot of those factions tend to just go archer heavy against them, and I think it's just because, you know, they can outrange them and they can shoot the low armored infantry of the Vampire Coast to death. So the Chariot also 195 kills. That is a very nice showcase in why they're glass cannons. One unit, Luther Harkin dived in, they got distracted for a few seconds, they got shot to pieces, no value, gone. Other one was able to be microed successfully, got on top of a lot of units throughout the battle, got 2 chevrons and almost 200 kills. Now, that's a nice little case example there of why, if sometimes your chariots don't get a lot of kills, it's not because chariots are bad, it's because maybe you just didn't get the best engagements for them. So moving on from there, Anticity getting the first point in this best of 3. We'll see what happens in the second round. Here goes that intro card. ODM Enticity taking the Vampire Coast up against XMT Gobbo Slayer's High Elves. This is round 2 and is currently match point for ODM Enticity. If he wins this, he progresses forward in the tournament. Now, throwing it into slow-mo and taking down the intro card. Starting with blue player Enticity. For the Vampire Coast, Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob. We have 2 of them with pole arms, and make it at least 4, possibly 5, and yes, it's going to be 5 as there is another one hidden over on this flank. We have Scurvy Dogs up on the right flank in the forest, and then we're going to have another unit of Scurvy Dogs on the left flank in the forest. So some nice mobility and anti-large chaff infantry to support this army. We're going to have Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob with handguns. Looks like we're going to have 3 of them. And I lied, make it 4. Also going to have 2 bombers. We're going to have 2 mortars, both of them cleverly hidden behind this terrain feature. Eagle Call bolt throwers, which have a relatively direct line of fire, are not going to be able to shoot them through this. And the mortars will be able to just fire over them as they lob their shots at the very high arc. Now, for the real killing power for the ranged infantry, we're going to have 3 deck droppers for the Vampire Coast, and I like this pick a lot. They outrange the high elf range units and may be able to get some good value here. Down on the ground for the leadership, we have Count Noctilus on foot. He's going to be bringing Captain Ross Moondial, Wraithstorm, as well as Arcane Conduit, Invocation of the Heck, and the Drowned Dead. One of the tankiest lords in the game right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now for the High Elves, we are going to be looking here at archers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So going heavy on the archers, as I had mentioned. We're going to have 4 units of Silverin Guard. Very nice High Elf Spearmen. These guys are absolutely bosses. They have 30% magic resist, expert charge defense, and just really good stats across the board. We're going to have 4 Eagle Claw bolt throwers. We're going to have some white lines of trace. And then for the remainder of this army, it looks like we have some Illyrian Reavers playing defense in the back line, looking out for Scurvy Dog action. And then for the leadership, we have a Mage of Fire with Burning Head, Fireball, and Kindle Flame. Nice pick into the coast, I would say. And then we're going to have a Lith Anar, the one, the only, down here on foot. And he is going to be firing away with his bow. And we'll see who comes out on top. No, mortars coming in, and yeah, both of these players bringing very interesting armies, and it seems like both players are going to really try to flex the artillery muscles, and we'll see how they do, but the High Elves are going to have to be pulling back. I agree with the decision. They want to get as far away from these mortars as possible until they are neutralized. I have a Fireball coming in here, going after a mortar, and it is going to successfully destroy one of the mortars, so they are down to 5 models now. And Eagle Call bolt throwers, unfortunately, just going to have a really tough time getting on top of them. Over here, Illyrian Reavers coming in to counter the Scurvy Dogs, who got pretty aggressive there against the archers. Will they be able to close the gap? It looks like the Scurvy Dogs are staying just ahead of them, and the High Elf Archer is going to take some damage and then take a mortar to the face right after that charge. Over here, Scurvy Dogs, once again, getting aggressive, trying to get down, shut down the High Elf range power, but the Illyrian Reavers being nicely deployed to chase them off and prevent them from causing havoc. Illyrian Reavers, do you want to be careful? They're getting dangerously close to Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob, and it looks like they're going to pull back. Wise decision, as some handguns fire in. A Burning Head going across, doing a ton of damage to the Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob, and now through the Scurvy Dogs and a unit of handguns, and that was a beautiful, an absolutely beautiful Burning Head. 136 kills on top of that Mage of Fire right now. So, ooh, devastating stuff, and we're going to see the archers start doing some mean work. The bombers are pushing forward. One of the Eagle Claw bolt throwers taking a lot of damage, but man, that, I'm still getting over that Burning Head. That was beautiful. Invocation of the Heck going down to try to heal up a lot of those units, though. Scurvy Dogs once again going in, full health unit, as well as one of them that's getting healed up by a heck, and a summon in there too. And the archers are just getting harried to the max. The Vampire Coast here, led by Enticity, some really good micro on display, as you see these Scurvy Dogs just go in, out, and the mortars in the back line all the while causing a lot of havoc. And the High Elves really have nothing to address with them. You know, they got a good fireball off early, but the pressure is on, and the Vampire Coast is just pushing forward their lines, and you can see it's like High Elves just can't catch their breath. The further and further the High Elves get pushed back, the less chance they have to shut down the mortars. And also, the handguns start coming into range, the bombs start coming into range, and then you have these deck gunners that just lay down an insane amount of firepower and armor-piercing damage. And I imagined this is looking like the Vampire Coast may get away with it. However, it's not over till it's over. Illyrian Reavers coming out once again, chasing off these Scurvy Dogs, who once again are being keenly microed away from the frontline engagements. Count Noctilus is not going to be catching anyone anytime soon, but he's certainly not going to be dying anytime soon either. Mage of Fire is taking some damage, but yeah, overall, both leadership squads seem to be doing okay. A Lithanar over here still poking away at the Vampire Coast, but not really sure what he's targeting. That looks like the deck gunners. And a lot of damage he has done, but not looking like he's getting it down quickly enough. Elves are just on their heels right now. The Silvering Guard holding steady. White Lines of Trace holding steady. But all of the High Elf ranged power has been dealt with. So I guess we'll see. If these guys run out of ammunition at any point, the Silvering Guard may be able to get a lot of work done here. But just look at the crossfire on the White Lines of Trace as they are pinned in combat. These guys are going to turn around to run away. They better pray they get out of range quickly, because they're getting shot in the back in the meantime. Wraithstorm going down on top of some archers who are in the way back trying to avoid the mortar fire, and it looks like they may be able to get some good damage on them, but that Wraithstorm taking a good chunk of their health out. Deck Gunners are starting to get dragged down by the Equal Call Bolt Thrower and a Lithanar. I would love to see the Equal Call Bolt Throwers maybe use Scatter Shot. I don't know if that's me being naive. I know the single bolts are usually better at killing models, but I think the Scatter Shot might have a better chance of killing off these Deck Gunners. But Balance of Power is getting really out of hand, and Enticity is starting to pull this battle in his favor, looking like he may take it from here. Will this be a short 2-0, or will the High Elves, led by Gobbo Slayer, be able to bring it back? Man, the micro on display here from both of these players is quite astounding. Scurvy Dog play has been a beauty, a thing of beauty to watch. Over here, Noctil is pinning Silvering Guard in place and allowing his handguns to do work from there. Oh, I missed a burning head that went right through some gunnery mob, and I imagine did a whole lot of work. Don't see what else could have killed him. The deck gunners have been eliminated. Scurvy Dogs, though, over here taking out Illyrian Reavers, and those High Elves sorely needed the Illyrian Reavers to win that combat. Without them, there's really nothing to shut down any of the range power of the Vampire Coast, and they still have a surprising amount of ammunition left on those mortars and handguns. Yeah, it looks like army losses are kicking in, and going to be seeing the High Elves shot off the battlefield here. Now that is a face a mother could love, and no one else. Oh, man. You poor bastard. Yeah, Scurvy Dogs are champs. Always one of those units that I think are just an absolute must in about 99% of Vampire Coast armies. Let me know if you disagree, but I think that mobility is key, to say the least. Hey, of course, Jay Phoenix, and don't worry, I don't think I'll be streaming a ton just because my throat is kind of starting to hurt. But let's get another battle in for sure. 253 kills on that Mage of Fire, guys. Can you believe it? That was some nice burning head action. Lithanar getting some good damage in there too. And honestly, I think Lithanar did his job for the most part. He eliminated the deck gunners, but I just think the Silvering Guard are an overspend. I like them, and I want to preface it with that. The Silver Shields are awesome. Expert Charge defense is nice. Their melee stats are astounding, so they can stand up against Morghuls and things like that. If the Vampire Coast decides to go with a, let's say, a Cyrene rush, so have ethereal infantry, then they're also a nice pick because they have 30% magic resist, but they're also 850. That's expensive. High Elf Spearmen are 500. Saving that 350 on each of them really stacks up. You know, you can get close to like 1,500 points if you just replace those 4 Silvering Guard with 4 Spearmen. So I think I would take the extra points and try to go with more, like get a 5th Spearman, for instance, and then maybe another Lyrian Reaver. I think having the extra Spearman and the extra Reaver would have helped a lot with this build against the Scurvy Dog play, which was really, really well microed once again to Enticity. So no shame in that game. Gobbo Slayer, always a pleasure to have you in the tournaments. Hope to see you in Season 7. Better luck next time, and ODM Enticity, a big congrats as he progresses further into the tournament.